Good morning. Welcome to the Wheel Route Fantasy Football Channel. I'm Kev Wheeler. We're going to be talking some start sits. I hope my mic is on. Let me double check this. 1 second. Hopefully you could hear me. I needed to switch the audio just a bit. Welcome. All right, so we're going to go over some start sits, talk some DFS lineups, and take a look at some underdog weekly best ball drafts. And I got to get my stuff together. Give me 1 second. I was answering some start sit questions in my Discord. If you have any start sit questions, please hit the Discord. Ask them there. You can ask them here too. I'm free to interact here as well. I always hit the Discord first, try to get those through and out of the way, and I will actually show you one of them here now. Lieutenant Dan's always famous for asking me a bunch of start sit questions. He probably has them all set in his head, but you know, I like the way he participates or interacts, and gives me material for the show. Really appreciate that. Well, that reminds me, I kind of gotta share this and get it out there. Shoot. It's really challenging to kind of remember everything that I need to do to promote this. Nobody's going to watch if I don't do this. So give me 2 seconds, fans, and I will. Trying to do two things at once isn't always optimal for this guy. All right. View my channel. Give me 1 minute. You can see the questions there and my answers to them. I'm going to go over them in a heartbeat. Just bear with me as I let y'all know that I'm here, hanging out, chilling, and ready to go ish. Ish. All right. Let me get this on the socials really. Well, I say quickly, but not that quickly. Post new posts. I'm not even going to say what's up. I'm just going to put it out there. Blue Sky. If you're not on Blue Sky, jump on there. Follow me at wheelrouteff.bluesky.social. If it asks you for a link or an invite, hit me up in the Discord or here or wherever. I'll shoot you an invite to Blue Sky. I don't think you need it anymore, though. It's like Twitter, but cleaner, better, actual people, not so many bots, and definitely not as much advertising or propaganda nonsense. But I will throw this out there on that other platform because there are still people warped in their own little bubble, and I'd like to pull them out of that bubble. Not sure. It's just going to show the link. It doesn't show the. Oh, shoot. That's what I should have done. There we go. Why that one? Sometimes the icon doesn't show up when you put it on certain socials, so I just throw the icon on there. Okay, so let's get to it. We got Lieutenant DAM asking me 7 different start sit questions here. And actually, let me turn this off. I'll paste that link there as well. All right, so we have first question: Pacheco, Dylan Sampson, or Quinshon Johnson? Quinshon? Let me. I just call him QJ, and Quentin Johnson. I don't know why I thought Quentin Johnson. All right, so yeah, I told him to go ahead with QJ. Just has more upside. They targeted him, I want to say 7 times last week. I'll double check on that. Yeah, 7 targets, 5 receptions, 80 yards, 2 touchdowns last week. He probably won't get 2 touchdowns this week, but he clearly has the best upside of those 3. He could have 0 floor, but I kind of doubt it. They like Herbert likes him. Makes all the difference. And I think the coaches like him too. I get the idea that he's been working on his game and improving in the offseason. So good on him. I also said to go with Dylan Sampson over Pacheco because I think Dylan Sampson presents a better floor. We saw last week, I believe Dylan Sampson had 3 receptions. I'm going to double check on his targets too. But going against Baltimore, they're probably going to be down early. So Dylan Sampson had 8 receptions on 8 targets last week for 64 yards. Bingo. That's exactly what you want in a game against the Ravens. He also had 12 attempts for 29 yards. So that's a total of 20 touches. Yes, it's Dylan Sampson time. Pacheco only had, I want to say, 5 carries, and maybe 1 or 2 receptions. Let me double check. 3 targets, 2 receptions. So even if they do go to Pacheco more, even if they're kind of breaking him in easy, coming off an injury-plagued season last year, Kansas City's probably going to be down quite early, which means they're going to go to more. Pacheco can catch passes, but he isn't their optimal pass-catching back. I don't even know if they actually have one. They probably do in Brashard Smith, but they haven't been using him yet either. But that backfield's at least a 3-way split, if not 4. And they're going to be passing most of the time. So Pacheco should be a 12 to 15 carry, 3 to 5 target guy. But I haven't seen them use, well, they don't seem to be using him quite that way yet. And even if he is, with Flacco at the helm in Cleveland and Flacco in a revenge game, nice, best on call. Got any questions? Let me know. Appreciate that. But yeah, so I went with Sampson over Pacheco, at least for the time being, for this week. So his second question was Javonte Williams, Etienne, or Zach Charbonnet. I'm a massive, huge Charbonnet fan, but in this instance, Etienne now doesn't have Bigsby there. Probably 15 to 20 touches. I think that's what he got last week as well. I'll double check on that. Either way, I have Etienne moved quite high up in my ranks. I have him at RB14, back where he kind of belongs. He had 16 attempts and 3 targets, so 19 total touches last week. He's their main guy. He's their main guy. Going against Cincinnati could be a high-scoring affair. Etienne can catch passes out of the backfield as well. Should be good to go there. And Javonte's just going to get more touches. And going against the Giants, well, you know what? The Giants are tough on defense, especially the defensive line. My thought was Javonte had the 18 touches last week, 15 attempts, 3 targets. He got 2 lucky touchdowns last week that wouldn't have been there had the Eagles defensive lineman not spit on Dak and got kicked out of the game. Javonte ran right where he left. I think I'm going to eliminate my personal bias from this and I would tell Lieutenant Dan to start Javonte. If Charbonnet's going against Pittsburgh, we don't know if Kenneth Walker's going to get more touches just because I'm sure the press was in the coach's ear. Etienne only had 12 attempts, no targets. Charbonnet only had 12 attempts, no targets. Javonte's just going to touch the ball more. That's a close one, though. I have Javonte 6 spots ahead of Charbonnet. I feel like I should move Charbonnet up. I think personally Kenneth Walker's going to have to beat out Charbonnet for that job. Just want to kind of check a couple other guys and see where they have him ranked. So I'm ahead of consensus by 4. Yeah, it already looks like I have Charbonnet kind of ahead of a lot of people. So I'm just gonna kind of keep him. I have Charbonnet at RB 28, a good flex start or solid flex start. Probably just because we don't know how that backfield's still going to be split. Just want to see. Yeah, I mean, in all reality, Kenneth Walker was used more than Charbonnet last week. He had 3 targets and 10 attempts to rushing attempts to Charbonnet's 12 rushing attempts, 0 targets. So Charbonnet is definitely a nice split backfield. So I'm going to go with Javonte over Charbonnet by a slim margin. Next question was Trevion or Javonte. I think I instinctually said Javonte just because of the number of touches. That is how I have it ranked. Trevion Henderson. Yeah, I only saw 5 attempts, but he did see 6 targets. Targets should be plentiful in this game. It's really just, again, just a matter of touches. Trevion could upset that, but just based on pure volume, I went Javonte. I would be seriously tempted to start Trevion over Javonte in a PPR, though, going against Miami. That's a tough one. That's a tougher one than I really considered. All of these are tough. You wouldn't be asking start-sit questions if they weren't tough, right? So, yeah. Let's see. We have Strange or wait for Mayer, but he has Bowers. So this is what I told him to do. I told him to go with the Bowers-Mayer team. If Bowers is out, Mayer is definitely, most likely, I think I would rank Mayer in a top 12 tight ends. Let me think. If Bowers is out, and actually I want to move McBride ahead of Bowers just because I think this is Trey McBride week. I really do. I feel 2-touchdown game for Trey McBride. He's got to break out of this slump somehow, and Carolina seems like a good place to do it. Where would I put Mayer? Mayer would go in that Hunter Henry, Brenton Strange, Jake Ferguson range. But I told him that if you have both Mayer and Bowers, there's really no need for another tight end until they reach their bye week. Because Mayer is a very solid start at that tight end position when or if Bowers is out. All right. So next question was Pickens, Igbuka, Torrey McMillan or Trevion Henderson, start 1. Wow, that is a stacked bench. I would say make some trades, but like if this is like your flex decision, your starters must be astounding. I told them to go with Igbuka, but really any of them, they're all great choices. Can't go wrong kind of pick. Of course, I can because I'm telling them 1 out of these 4, and I have them. I would imagine Trevion's probably a little bit behind just because we don't know how many touches he's going to get. Although I think he's going to have a better than expected week. I might want to look over his rank. Actually, let me do it right now while it's fresh in my mind. Last week I made a lot of adjustments to my rankings last second, and as I went through, like 80% of them were the wrong adjustment. If I had just kept it there in the first place, I would have done so much better in the accuracy competition. As it was, I was 43rd overall, which is, top 25% ish, which is good for somebody that, does this as a hobby and not a full-time job, but I prefer top 10 scores. If I'm not in the top 10, I'm not really pleased with my accuracy on the week. I think if I didn't make, if I only even made half of the adjustments I made, given the right ones, Justin Fields I moved him way down in preseason, regular season rankings, and I'm kicking myself. I have a ton of him in best ball, so I'm not too disappointed. I hope he goes off for 30 every week. I will sacrifice the accuracy competition for my overall portfolio and bags. But I'm rambling now, aren't I? I got off on a tangent. So Egbuka is Travion Henderson. All right. So here's the thing. That's what I'm kind of actually forgetting is that the rankings accuracy competition is at half point PPR. If you're in full point PPR, Travion Henderson is one of those that really makes quite a big jump. I would probably have him closer ranked. He's one of few that make a massive jump, and he would probably jump to the RB 18, RB 19 range, something in that area. Right now in half point PPR, I have him as RB 27, and census is RB 23. So I'm going to move him up a couple of spots just because I don't want to be down on him. I can move him ahead of Montgomery and Dobbins. JCM or Bill played already, so he's locked into RB 24. I'm not going to move Travion Henderson ahead of Tyrone Tracy going against Dallas. Actually, I might move Tracy up one or two just for giggles. That moves Javonte down a couple spots. So if we're looking at full PPR, I might adjust my response to Lieutenant Dan because Javonte or Travion would be ahead of Javonte in full PPR now that I'm looking at it. But anyway, I would still go with Egbuka over Pickens and Tatora. Oh, that's a tough one. Tatora, I expect. Well, against Arizona, not so much. Actually, I have my sleeper tight end is Ja'Tavion Sanders. I want to move Ja'Tavion quite a bit up, but when we're talking my rankings here, if I move Ja'Tavion Sanders up, it means I'm moving other people down, and so Jonnu Smith with Arthur Smith is probably going to be spoon-fed some gadget touches, and he was, he's got that little pop pass at the goal line. There's no more Aaron Rodgers thing than a pop pass instead of a handoff, right? Just padding stats at the goal line is ridiculous. He's done that his whole career. Not necessarily the pop pass, but going from a run to a pass to Devontae Adams or some other super reliable wide receiver. He's been a stat padder his whole career. Rodgers has, which is why he's actually decent for fantasy. And the next question, I probably should say Aaron Rodgers, but all right. So anyway, rambling again. Ja'Tavion Sanders. I have a difficult time moving ahead. Jonnu Smith, Evan Ingram, Dalton Kincaid got a bunch of targets last week, although most of it, I think, was fourth quarter. Juwan Johnson, I think, was a product last week of going against Arizona, which is the reason I like Jatavian Sanders this week. And San Francisco is usually really good against the tight end. Let me just see some. The problem is Javonte had 11 targets last week. So fading somebody that had 11 targets the week before is really tough. Do I think he's going to get as many targets? No. But all the tight end needs is one touchdown, and it kind of shifts the rankings drastically. I'll come back to that later if I think about it. I want to move Juwan Johnson down, but that's the thing too. Like basically those five, and even Harold Fannin had a great week last week, but he's a rookie. Who knows? They could end up peppering Njoku with those touches. I'm going to come back to these tight end rankings because I need to flip them around a little bit. I need to work on that. So let's take a look. I talked about 5. Let's pick 2 QBs. Daniel Jones, Aaron Rodgers, or T-Law. T-Law's got to break out one of these days. Jesus, like everybody's been relying on this talent. And, if he doesn't do it this week, I don't know if I can come back to T-Law again. Like, I just don't feel like I can do it. And then as far as Daniel Jones and Aaron Rodgers, I have Daniel Jones 1 spot ahead of Aaron Rodgers. They're really super close. Daniel Jones is going against Denver this week, so he's not going to have nearly as good a week as he had last week, or he shouldn't. And Aaron Rodgers going against Seattle. So they're both going against pretty tough defenses. That is really a gut call, but my gut is always going to turn against Aaron Rodgers. So I said Daniel Jones, but I did let him know it's very close. And then the last one, Dobbins, Tracy, or Etienne, was that clearly Etienne for me. Please, if you're watching this later or pop on soon, check out wheelrouteff.com for rankings, waiver wire articles, and anything else I can come up with. I need to talk to some people to see if they want. If you are interested in breaking into the fantasy industry and want some exposure, hit me in the Discord and we will work out a way where I can publish your stuff. I can't pay you until I start to get paid a little, and then we'll see how it goes from there. But if you're interested in breaking into the industry, getting your content out there, I got a website you can post. I will likely edit some just for SEO and grammar and that sort of thing. If you keep it clean, then everything should be cool. I might really there's little nuanced things that I learned when I was writing for the 33rd team that just are better approaches to writing content on the internet. So those will only be my only little tweaks and edits. I'm not going to change what your opinion is on the matter. So some DFS. I made a couple of DFS lineups in Fanball. The prizes for these are 100 and 400, I think. The Buck Hunter is $1 to play. High Five is $5 to play. So like the top prizes are 100 and 400. Not much, but small tournaments. If you haven't been successful on DraftKings or FanDuel, those tournaments, most of them are quite large and very experienced drafters. I mean, there's a blend. There's a whole lot of new customers that roll in the first couple of weeks too. But I've depleted my resources on those sites. They've just gotten kind of too big. So I've found that these smaller sites that have fewer people entering contests, and I'm just going to go into the lobby real quick. Let's take a look at their salary cap. They do have draft and auction. I haven't dabbled in there yet, so I'm not going to do it for the first time. online. I'm going to keep the entry fees low. I could do the $20 one, but I want to be successful at the lower stakes ones first, just to get my feet wet and get used to this particular format. Let me think. There's a high five gonna fill. Yeah, the high five's gonna fill. The buck hunter's gonna fill. They have a bunch of double ups. Double ups are usually like the safest way to build a bankroll, but it's pretty slow. So I like to take bigger dives than head to heads or 50-50s or double ups, whatever you want to call them, and do kind of small field tournaments. They're both going to fill. A lot of times there's overlay. But what time we got? 11:30. Let's whoops. High five. Enter again. Let's make another lineup. And actually, maybe I should have looked at that lineup a little better. Sorry about that. Where did that go? So I just want to get it. I want to repeat my quarterbacks. So I had Lamar and Drake May in that one, huh? All right. So I must have caught some value. There's different values in this than there is on FanDuel and the DraftKings. So let's just take a look at it. I'll usually when I'm constructing a lineup, I'll start by looking at what at wide receivers and which ones are mispriced, and then going with my quarterback stack from there. But there are, let me look at quarterback again. Josh, Lamar, Jalen. So Kyler's high priced, not going to hit that. Purdy is out. So you do have the option of reaching pretty far down. I want to check my lineups again. I only have. Thought I had two different lineups. Sorry about this. Thought I had two different lineups in this one already. Doesn't look like. Entries too. Where's the other lineup then? Entries. Or maybe it's counting the one I haven't put in yet. Where do I go to my contests? Upcoming. Okay, yeah, I do. So I have a Drake May and Lamar lineup. I have a Tua and Fields lineup. Okay, so this Tua and Fields lineup is actually, I'm going to enter that in the $5 one, the high five. What? It already filled? In the few seconds I was on here? Try it again. Oh well. I missed out. Maybe I'll do a double up with it. That's a shame. Winner take all. It's 1 out of 3. I guess I could do that. Actually, maybe if there's like a... Need to narrow this down a little bit. Sorry about this, folks. I wanted to enter a lineup in the main $5 one, but that didn't happen. NFL double up, NFL double up. How about a triple up, quadruple up? $100 winner take all. No, $50 winner take all. Give me a winner take all with like 10 in it. Doesn't look like that. Head to heads just don't do it for me. $1 winner take all 3. Bah. doesn't look worth my time. Anyway, next week, maybe we can hit that a little earlier, and I would recommend it. I do not have a promo code as far as I know, but when you sign up, let them know you saw it, at thewheelrouteff.com or on this show, whatever you prefer. Let's go here. Thought I was logged into there already. Oh, there. No, there we go. This tab. That's what's going on. All right. So we're here, Owner's Box. I actually left a link in the show description, link on there. I'm not sure what their promo is, but they do have this system of tiered referrals. So you take my referral and we'll get you a referral and you get 25 bucks. And you get, so if it's kind of network marketing or pyramid scheme-ish, but I believe that's it. I don't think you get anything for initial deposit, although when I signed up, they gave me these owner's bucks. You get to earn owner's bucks every time you play. So once in a while, you'll get a free entry to something or other. You know, not great, but the referral system seems pretty cool. And we can maximize that a different way if we work together. But yeah, so if you join using my referral link, right? You can also, and I was trying to set this up this week where memberships to website, Discord, and YouTube. It's coming soon where I'm going to have members only stuff. In fact, this might be a members only show Sunday mornings, or my lives might be Sunday, or my lives might be members only, my live shows. But we're going to see. But if you get in the Discord before I lock it up, then you're in there for free and don't have to pay with the membership. And subscribe here, and you'll probably, if you get in the Discord, you'll have access to referral codes for other things too. But anyway, I made one lineup in here. There's almost always overlay. So the first lineup I made was a Dak, Trevor Lawrence. I didn't get a bring back for Trevor Lawrence because I wanted Breece Hall in there over the Cincinnati running back, Chase Brown. Yeah. I don't even remember if he was cheaper or just my gut told me to play him. I actually should do this lineup with a Chase Brown bring back. Do I want to? I'm just going to do a $1. Slot. Let's see. I don't line up there. Sorry there, folks. Taking a look at this. Why can I edit entries? That's global swap. I don't want global swap. I just want to edit. I want to edit one of view entries. Oh, that's all right. So the Hail Mary, I'm gonna edit this. See if I can actually edit this. Maybe I'll create a new one, right? Oh, I have this entry in there twice. Okay, so Edit lineup. Okay. Let's see if I can fit in. Chase Brown was considerably more expensive. Never mind. Let's try it though. I'm going to throw that in there, and then we can. Pickens is part of a stack. Brian Thomas is part of a stack, but I could switch Brian Thomas with Travis Hunter, right? What does that leave me? It leaves me 700 left over to maybe mess with this Keon Coleman or no, the Harold Fannin. So the one thing I noticed, we can take a look at the flex. The Harold Fannin bet at 3,100. The players between 3,100 to 4,400 and even going up higher are all about the same. So I took a 2 tight end build there just because at that lower range of projection, tight ends are usually projected for more. Fannin is used as a wide receiver. He just has tight end eligibility. Another option at 31. There's a good amount of options at 3,100. So you could go Jatavian Sanders, but I mean, I believe Jatavian Sanders is going to have a hell of a week, but like ranking him or starting him over Harold Fannin Jr. just makes zero sense in any platform, really. But there is Elikai Manor, who is, again, Harold Fannin showed us last week that he's going to be used as a receiver. He got 11 or so targets. I double check on that. 11 just sounds high no matter when you say it. When you talk about a rookie first day out, I think that might be off. 9 targets still. 9 targets and a rushing attempt. So that's where I was. 10 total touches. Elikai Manor. I think he had. I might be mixing him up with somebody, but he might have only had 3 snaps. Let me just take a look. I know he's pretty far down in my rankings. I do think he's going to have a breakout week. I have him ranked as wide receiver 64, which is probably a whole. No, he had 7 targets, 2 receptions. Elikai Manor is going to have better weeks. He appears to be their wide receiver 2. So yeah, he's not a bad play at 3,100. Jatavian Sanders. I feel like there were more. Adam Mitchell, not really. He's a dart throw. He's a good shot. Parker Washington, I could have stacked, but no, thank you. Elijah Moore. Did he get anything last week? I don't think he did. I do want to check on that because he could be sneaky, like have a boom week here and there. Elijah Moore is one of those good late round best ball plays, but yeah, he only had 1 target last week, so we're not gonna mess around with him. At least not too much. Hunter Renfrow is one that could pop up with a bunch of targets. Darius Slayton could always catch a bomb, especially at Dallas. Slayton's a decent bet at 3,300. I guess you could go Chig, but I'm not a Chig guy. Gesicki got vultured last week, so Gesicki wouldn't be a bad bring back if I hadn't done Chase Brown. But the whole reason I am revamping this is because of Chase Brown, right? Brenton Strange could be a stack there, but how much? I have 700 left over, so playing off the Fannin. I'm already at 3,800, so like I guess I could go Fannin. I could switch to Colston Loveland or Dalton Kincaid, but nothing really jumps up at you. I'm keep scrolling, keep going up here. So 3,100 play. There's three $3,100 players that are probably better plays than. I mean, I'm in the 4,000s now, and I still maybe Marvin Mims, but that's a dart throw. Hunter Henry might be a little bit more safer floor, maybe not really. He's another tight end that's going to be relying on touchdown. Um, Still searching. I guess De'Ami Brown would be an option for stacking at 4,100, but not necessarily better than Fannin. Or the others that I mentioned. I guess Kenny Gainwell at 4,300. David Njoku might be a better play in DFS because more people are going to be on Fannin, and the play kind of against Fannin would be Njoku or Cedric Tillman. Cedric Tillman's a good kind of adjustment. But again, given this lineup construction here, that they're too expensive. So I would have to come down on a Kevin Coleman play. Not Kevin. The first names I'm just atrocious with. Even I'm a teacher and I remember their last names because that's how they're listed in the grade book. But the first names always screw me up. It's got to be. Where is he? Coleman. Keon. Why couldn't I remember that? Anyway, feel like an idiot sometimes. Wan'Dale Robinson at 4,500 is kind of the first name that pops up to me in a full PPR. Bateman could catch a touchdown. Tyler Warren. Again, we're going a lot of tight ends here are the other considerations against Fannin, and they're much higher priced at this point. But let me scroll up. So I want to go off of this Keon Coleman at 5,100. Let's see if there's a 58. I'm going to go from 5,800 down just to. I mean, really, I should probably leave money on the table because it just makes for a more unique build. Jameson Williams is a guy I could go with over Keon Coleman. Let's try that. Jameson Williams could have a big week. Just going to check and see what else was out there. Turn on the whole flex. 50, 57, 56. Okay. I could have gone with DK Metcalf. Metcalf's going to have a big week. At least one touchdown, maybe two against his former team. Aaron Rodgers is just petty enough to feed him the ball. In fact, I'm going to go with that narrative over Williams, over Jameson, over Whiskey Bill. I think Metcalf is probably going to be a little bit less played and definitely has tournament winning upside. So just a little lineup adjustment there. Let's take a look again, see if I can see all three of. I only have a couple lineups in here, just dabbling at this point. Where? I guess I should have entered a $5 tournament with that. Yeah, I'll stick with that. You know what? I kind of want to make a. Let's see if I can make another one. $5 entry. Oh, so you can only enter one of these. Okay. Only enter one of them. I'm just going to keep it at that. Let's go play some underdog. Unless you got questions. Anybody got questions? Hit me in the chat. Hit me in the Discord. Messed up my screen again. I got another hit in the Discord. Let's take a look. Keon Coleman or Pickens? Travis Hunter, Keon Coleman or Pickens? Let's take a look. I think I could keep. Keon Coleman. All right. So I have Travis Hunter, 6 spots ahead of Coleman. Oh, it's Pickens. Yeah, it's Pickens. It's Pickens, no doubt. Pickens and Dak, I think, is definitely. I do have. Yeah, all right. Pickens and Dak. No doubt. Bingo. All right. Let's hit that underdog lobby. There's a mini royale. Engage 8. That's the one I'm gonna go with. It's much like the battle royale where we pick 6 players. 6 teams, 6 players each. 1 quarterback, 1 tight end, 1 running back, 2 receiver, and a flex. Done a couple of these. Oh, that's what I meant to do. I meant to show you if I can pull up the draft boards I already did. I don't even know if I actually sent them. Oh, that's right, too. I do need to go over my starting lineup. So let's remember that and I'm gonna hit, hope the inactives are gonna hit any second. So want to do that. Open up my sleeper. I really can't stand the sleeper platform. I don't understand what people see in it. It's like fake slick. All right. Not a huge fan of starting with the wide receiver just because wide receivers go so deep. But it's hard to deny Jamar Chase after a poor week last week is probably going to bounce back. I made like dozens of trade offers in all my leagues, in all my dynasty leagues. Offers I thought were fairly fair, maybe slightly leaning towards me. But expecting or hoping for counter offers. Nobody freaking counter offers. It's ridiculous, man. Like don't get me wrong, if an offer is way off base, I won't counter, but I'll explain kind of why I'm not countering. All right, so this pick, I could go with one of the quarterbacks here. Yeah, I'll go with Lamar. I don't think I got Lamar in one of these yet. Just there are, so there are a couple QBs. Well, one in particular that you can always kind of grab late or later that could outscore Lamar and think he did outscore Lamar last week, but Lamar's upside week to week is just undeniable. And you can easily stack them because nobody's going to snipe you really I could probably wait until literally oh no, Zay Flowers 31. I could probably wait until the last round to get him. 31 is the last round, yeah. So I got Jamar Chase. I'll probably grab Flowers. There goes Chase Brown, so I'll probably hit Breece Hall. Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren will probably be my next pick, and then Breece Hall. And is there another running back? James Conner's a possibility, but they're probably going to work in Trey Benson even more. So I could grab tight end in the last round. You know, my sleeper tight end. And I might even just. Oh, I know. I'm gonna get it. Breece Hall better be here at the 4th round. Actually, no, I'm not gonna get Breece in the 4th. I'm gonna wait into the 5th because if we look at the draft board here, the first and second team both have 2 running backs. They cannot get another running back. So if Breece comes back to me in the 4th, I might as well just skip him and wait till the 5th. I'll get Zay at 22. I don't care. Or I could, let me X this out. Is there another standout wide receiver? And that's what I should have done too. Maybe get A-Chain instead of Lamar and go with the Burrow on the comeback because Burrow's still there. I could get Higgins. Breece can't be taken. I'm just going to grab Zay to be safe with the stack. Massive reach, but whatever. Okay, and I could go Tyreek late. Etienne is a decent bring back. Let me think. I'm done at tight end too. Metcalf is there. So there's Pickens there. I guess Hollywood is a possibility. Devontae Smith is whenever Goddard is out, Devontae Smith, and whenever anybody else is out, Devontae Smith just feasts. So it doesn't matter whether it's AJ Brown, Saquon Barkley, Goddard. It's whenever anybody is out, it's Devontae Smith season. And in DFS, I'm starting to think actually an Eagle stack this week might be optimal. I got a couple of these best balls where I've gotten Hurts and Devontae, but Hurts and Devontae, but I haven't mixed it with AJ Brown at all either. So maybe I'm going to try to do that with one of these. Yeah, good last pick, no matter what. But I will say that the 1 and 2 teams here have a good idea of starting RB. My one bite back on that is that I expect Breece Hall or even Etienne to be able to compete with an Achane or Chase Brown. So drafting them in the 2nd round isn't necessary. Although at that point, going with what they got makes sense. Where am I? So Tyreek, Etienne, Metcalf, I don't have any Metcalf in these, so I'm doubling down on Metcalf here. Those will be my last two shares. I think normally I go with Tyreek there. Tien is one that I want to throw in there at some point. I could have gone with a Cleveland. You know what? I could have and should have scrolled down. There's so many wide receivers here that could burst. But Cedric Tillman would have been a good bring back on the Baltimore Cleveland play, especially the way it's set up for me. But whatever, no big deal. Before I jump back into another Elite Eight, let's take a look at some of my lineup decisions. And we'll start with the Trade Addicts Dynasty team. Where does it send lineup? There we go. I got Jalen Hurts and Drake May. Gonna go with them over Geno. Drake May and Geno, probably a tough choice. New England at Miami. They don't usually fare well because of the heat. But let me just see how I have it ranked too. I'm quite sure I have Drake May. Drake May has that rushing upside, and yeah, I have him at QB9 this week. Geno, I have down at QB21, but I am going to move him up above Stroud at least to QB19. Let's go with that. I also have Bucky Irvin and Jonathan Taylor. I could go with Pollard this week, but I already started McLaurin. I don't really want to bench Tatori McMillan. I could bench Calvin Ridley, but he'll probably have a bounce back this week. Maybe not. Let me see. I have Pollard. I don't really have flex rankings. I kind of just so I have Pollard at RB20 behind Kamara. I hate having Chuba Hubbard at RB18. I'm going to move Chuba Hubbard down to 20. Just he has no upside whatsoever. So Pollard is RB19, so he's definitely a very startable running back. But my question would be, do I want to start him over Jameson Williams or and I have a question at tight end too. I'm starting Brock Bowers with nothing to kind of throw in there if he doesn't start. I could start both he and Juwan Johnson. No, I can't. I can't shift off of Bowers on Monday night, even with a different receiver. Yeah, no. I'm just thinking this is a 1.75 tight end premium, so starting multiple tight ends is not a bad idea. But as I said earlier, I don't really trust Juwan Johnson going against San Francisco. Need to fiddle around with the rankings there to see what I can do to make adjustments. So my question is Jameson Williams, Calvin Ridley, or Tony Pollard? Jameson Williams is wide receiver 30. Calvin Ridley is probably higher. No, he's wide receiver 35, which makes them all right around even. Looks like I have Ridley lower than most. Looks like I should move him up. So Ridley and Jameson Williams are now wide receiver 30 and 31 respectively. I'm actually still lower than ECR on each of them. but not moving them up anymore. I'm just going to keep this lineup the way it is with the wide receivers. I benched Pollard last week because he was going against Denver. How were the Rams against the run last week? That's what I should do too, is pick up some, just check out, see if any of the other resources I use have updated. Check out Corbin Young. What matchups did he? Week 1, week 2, Cleveland, Baltimore, Atlanta, Minnesota. All right, so he doesn't have anything updated on this. It's always nice when Corbin has a deep dive on something that I have a question about, but not always going to happen that way. I'm going to check out PFF real quick. Nathan Yankee posted out a 25% off PFF membership. And from what I can see, it's not their like advanced analytics tool that they market to like NFL teams, but it should have everything we want: projections, different stats and metrics, anything we can really use for fantasy is here in this membership. And it's at a 25% discount. And if you use Nathan Yankee's promo code for the 25% off, I follow him on Blue Sky and have retweeted his advertisement, for lack of a better term. But it's probably worth it if you're super into fantasy football. I did the $90 for the year, and I'll let you know how it is. I'm pretty frugal, so when I sign up for a membership for something, it's usually pretty worth it. Just gonna check out his rankings. What? Okay. Let me see sources, filters. This week, positions. There we go. Just want flex. All right. So what am I looking at again? Tony Pollard. And I'm just looking at the projections from PFF, nobody's rankings. I like to kind of keep it as objective as possible, even though I know projections are subjective in some instances, but projections are different than rankings in the fact that they remove as most of the subjectivity as possible. There's still some, but it's more based on law of averages than feelings, or we can add our own, what we've seen, what we've noticed, how we feel about players to projections without somebody else doing it for us necessarily. Of course, maybe that's why you're watching me, so I could help you through that, and that's what I do. Remember, I'm not giving advice, I'm just telling you what I would do in your case. All right, so Pollard is definitely projected higher than Jameson. And who was the other one I was considering? Well, they have Quentin Johnson ranked or projected higher than I do, which is good for my analysis earlier. Who am I looking at again? Sorry. I'm looking at a different screen than you are. So Jameson Williams, Calvin Ridley. That's the name I want to look at. Where is Ridley? It's got to be, I would imagine, ahead of Jameson. Yeah, he's ahead of Jameson, but Tony Pollard's definitely projected for more points, but these are median projections. So, but they're probably right in the fact that, let me see if they have. All right. So, touchdown projection for Pollard is, wow. So they have Pollard projected for 0.4 touchdowns. Ridley, 0 touchdowns. And Jameson Williams probably for 0 touchdowns. So the difference really in their projections is that 0.4 touchdown. But Pollard is probably more likely to get that touchdown against Los Angeles. Oh, that's what I wanted to check. I'm just going to look at the games from last week. Who did Los Angeles play last week? Let's see if I can get to this. I can get it quicker. Hold on. This is one of the things I want to do is have this organized so I can go straight from our website to tell you exactly who the teams gave up points to and kind of how, but that takes quite a bit of time and didn't seem to get it together this week. Anyway, so game leader. So the Rams played the Houston Texans last week. So, I mean, they gave up 60 yards to Nick Chubb. So Pollard should be able to repeat what Nick Chubb did and then some. All right, so who do I bench if I start Pollard? Jameson Williams or Calvin Ridley? Oh, I should go back to that. Where'd that box score go? Just because I want to see what the Rams gave up in the passing game, especially to a slot receiver. Oh yeah, Houston didn't really have a slot receiver last week, and none of the receivers did particularly well. Yeah, let me start Pollard over Ridley and see what happens there. Fun times. Taking you through my dilemmas. All right, let's take a look at my sleeper teams just to see if there's anything exciting going on there. We got this Super Goat redraft. Just take a look at my team. I got Jalen Hurts, Tony Pollard, James Cook, DJ Moore, George Pickens, Calvin Ridley, Trey McBride, Jatavian Sanders, start 2 tight end, Bucky Urban. The only reason Bucky Urban's in the flex is because he has the Monday night game, so it gives you extra flexibility there. Jacoby Myers, Justin Fields. Yeah, my bench is just inadequate at best, let's say. But the starting lineup looks good. I'm keeping that there. There's a couple of best ball leagues there. Ultimate Premium League, where there's like premium scoring at like all positions, I think, except wide receiver. So it heavily favors running back. I got Dak Prescott, Justin Fields, Tyrone Tracy, and Zach Charbonnet probably both belong in my flex. I do have Bucky Urban there. I also did bench, I think, Aaron Jones. It's one of those things. Tyrone Tracy over Aaron Jones this week. Zach Charbonnet probably shouldn't be over Aaron Jones. Let me see how I have it ranked. time we got 12:10. We're fine. Actually, I chose to do these Sunday mornings because Davis Davis Maddock. Yeah, I think Maddock. Said he wasn't going to do Sunday mornings, or at least not start sit. I don't know if he's doing start sits. Oh, did I answer PJ on this other thing? I got another question in the Discord. Nix or Mayfield? I'm going to look up that running back quandary in a second, though. Nix, Mayfield. I got Mayfield, buddy. All right, so my running back situation there, Tyrone Tracy, Zach Charbonnet, or Aaron Jones. I have Charbonnet slightly ahead of Aaron Jones, but I don't believe that it would be consensus, right? Consensus is running back 29 with corner at 24. So I should definitely move Jones up to at least consensus. And Charbonnet's consensus is 33. With nobody else ranking him particularly much higher. So I'm going to move Aaron Jones ahead of a bunch of people here. I'm going to move Aaron Jones up to running back 26, which is probably a better spot for him. What did David Montgomery do this? Although David Montgomery, 11 for 25, no touchdown, 4 target. David Montgomery's still getting his. He probably will get more this week. Yeah, I'll just leave it like that. So I should be starting Aaron Jones over Zach Charbonnet. Let's jump over there and do that. Yeah, Zach against Pittsburgh is probably let's go a little bit safer and hit that Aaron Jones. Now Aaron Jones plays Sunday at 8:20. Bucky's still Monday. Okay. Then at wide receiver, we got Rome Odunze and DJ Moore. I don't like starting two receivers on the same team without their quarterback. And even then, like, I prefer it in like DFS tournament play. But it is what it is. Like, it's what I got because I have Chris Godwin, Jawan Jennings. I could actually start Jennings, but he's still kind of banged up. Shoulder. He's going to play, but he'll probably be targeted. I would worry about Yak with a busted up shoulder. I also have Brandon Ayuk. So I'm kind of in a spot there. Fortunate though, my flex, Bucky Irvin was really a starter. So let's say Tyrone Tracy or Aaron Jones would be in the flex there. And then Jerry Jeudy, Jacoby Myers, and Devontae Smith. Feeling good about all of them. Just going to leave that the way it is now. Yeah, Aaron Jones over Charbonnet, I think, was a good move. Another super flex league here. Lamar Jackson, Breece Hall, Jonathan Taylor, DK Metcalf, Javonte Williams, Egbuka, Pat Freiermuth, and Fannin. It's a start 2 tight end league. The draft took place before the Steelers got Jonnu. So Freiermuth is kind of dead weight, but I'm waiting for either Noah Gray to take over for Kelsey, or Higbee was really going to be a starter, but seems to be nothing. I have Terrence Ferguson. should emerge by the end of the year as a starting tight end in LA, but we'll see. Tommy Tremble, I could probably get rid of. Daryl Washington and Noah Fant, I'm trying to throw out there as trade bait, but nobody's biting. He did get a touchdown last week, but that's not going to be predictable week to week. Anyway, my flex is Ginty, Jacoby Myers, Kenneth Gainwell. Do I want to get Gainwell out of there? Let's take a look. Don't have many other choices. Roschon, Ty Johnson, Keaton Mitchell. Keaton Mitchell is out there. I need to look over these inactives ASAP. All right. Chris Brooks. All right. So I could go with Josh Downs against Denver. Xavier Hutchinson. Ooh, Xavier Hutchinson. No. With Kirk out. With Kirk out, the play would be Jalen Noel, but they don't seem to want to give him touches right away. I could go Bateman in a stack with Lamar. Yeah, let's try that. Let's try Bateman in the flex. Gainwell was a thought, but going against Seattle, you never know what's going to happen in that Pittsburgh backfield. Heck, Jonnu Smith could steal touches. Yeah, let's roll with the Rashad Bateman stack against Cleveland. There might be some, might be some play there. And then this team is, I'm tanking, so I'm just gonna leave in a lineup that isn't gonna win anything, but it's a fair lineup for what I have players for. All right, so let's take a look. Inactives. Let's share this tab for a second. This is behind the scenes at the Fantasy Pros ranking stuff. Jalen Milroe is out. Why wouldn't they keep him as like a third emergency quarterback? Probably because if they want to play him, they're going to start him, and that'll be later in the season. Who is Seattle's other backup quarterback? I like to rank all of the backups too. Not the third string guys necessarily, but just because if the starter goes out, the backup could, if the backup produces I don't want to say substantial, but a startable number of points, it can count for or against you if you don't have them ranked. What team was I looking at? That Seattle. Who is Drew Lock, I guess, right? All right, I'm just going to add them there, not necessarily rank them. But if Jalen Milroe is out and Sam Darnold gets hurt, which I'd imagine isn't horribly far away, it's good to have the backup in there in case he produces. Raheem Sanders out probably means Quinshon Judkins is in. I'm going to move him up a little. Quinshon Judkins, I'll move up a little bit. Let's say in the above, where did he go? Move him ahead of A.J. Dillon, right in that Blake Corum, Isaiah Davis, Kendre Miller range. You know what? I'm probably going to move him right behind Tank Bigsby, I think is the play there. Jaden Blue is out. That gives more play to Javonte. Although, and Keaton Mitchell is out, that I'll bump up Justice Hill a little bit just because he's going to get more play than most of these guys. I'll put Justice Hill right behind Ray Davis. Let's move Ollie Gordon. The rankings, when you're talking this low, don't make a whole heck of a lot of difference. It's just you kind of want the guys that could pop ranked a little bit higher than those that are flat floor plays, even if injury happens. All right, so let's just OCD, want to knock these guys out that are out. Doesn't seem to be any headliners out so far. Gonna take a look at the news real quick and then maybe do one more draft and then send you on your way for today. Get to watch some football today. The girl had me all day yesterday, so I am chilling in the front of the TV today. All right, just get rid of those. Click a little publish. Still feel like there's probably something I'm forgetting. But all right, so I'm going to take a look at Blue Sky real quick. Just see if there's any inactives. You know, I'm just going to look here. Well, Daily News usually has. All right. Wandale active. Wandale active. Got some non-fitted. Juwan Jennings is active. Jalen Wright inactive. We saw that. No real surprises here. Xavier Worthy is out for week 2, looking good to play week 3. Okay. They're probably going to abuse him until week 7 when Rashee Rice comes back. Quinshon Judkins is expected to play about 10 to 15 snaps on Sunday. I'd imagine he gets touches on about half of them. They probably want to see what he has, and breaking him in slow is a good idea. But when you skip camp, there's no guarantees in life. But there's probably, I would say, the chances of a hamstring injury or other soft tissue injury is going to increase by about 90%. So yeah, ramping him up slowly is a good idea. But they want to see what he can do with the ball in his hands, I'm sure. Purdy's progressed a lot this week. But the Niners aren't even optimistic about a week 3 return. That's kind of what I thought. Ravens plan to draft Shedeur Sanders. But I guess he told the team he preferred to be drafted by a team where he could play sooner at all, right? Like, yeah. Giants have no sense of urgency to bench Wilson for Dart. We'll see what happens when Daboll is on the hot seat. Kirk out. Bowers expected to play Monday. Younghoe Koo is out. So I don't do much with the kicker rankings except kind of look at others' rankings. All right, I did have Parker Romo here ranked. Kickers are kickers. Don't start them. Diana Rossini reports Jalen Polk to be traded to Saints. Maybe it sounds like he might have been yesterday. Polk and a 7th for a 6th. Sounds about right. It's a shame. I was high on Polk last year. Rumors about the Michael Parsons trade. We said Worthy's out for week 2. Looks like repeat stuff here. Let's flip back and look at NFL news poster. He's usually pretty good with this stuff. All right, so he's saying, well, that's 13 hours ago. All right, he hasn't updated anything today, or they haven't. Let's take a look. Sean McVay is pleased with what the Rams accomplished in the passing game in week 1, but getting Davante Adams a bit more involved will be the goal against the Titans. I'm pretty sure my rankings reflect that already. Maybe not. Let's see where I am compared to some of the others. I'm ahead of ECR, but is there anybody who I respect ahead of me? Not necessarily. Again, the guys I really look at when it comes to this, Sean Corner and Tyler O. Corner has him ranked 21. Tyler O, I don't see. Tyler O has him 20, so 20 and 21, and then I have him 19. So I'm just going to leave him where it is. So Dolphins Patriots today. Don't be surprised if it's a shootout. Both defenses were the worst two. New England was third in the NFL in pass rate over expectation last week. They faced perhaps the worst unit in all of football this week, the Dolphins secondary. But the Patriots gave up even more explosive plays. So they're the worst two teams against explosive plays. Expect Tyreek Hill. Let me make sure I have him ahead of most. I'm barely ahead. Yeah, I'm going to move Tyreek Hill up, which means a bunch of people are moving down, which kind of sucks. But so another plus for Tyreek Hill is that Davis Maddock has made it clear he is fading him this week after like 20 weeks of starting him or playing him in DFS. I respect the Davis Maddox analysis, but I would have to say he might be the unluckiest fantasy player out there. And I really respect the way he's constantly trying to get better, and he's good. He's good at DFS. But like, it's one of those things. The full Tyreek Hill burn is on him. So if he's gonna fade him for once, he's like, he said after last week, that's it, no more. Not gonna do Tyreek Hill. So it's most likely Tyreek Hill week. I probably should move Diggs up a little bit, but I'm pretty high on Cedric Tillman and Kevin Coleman and Jalen Waddle ahead of them. Chris Olave got like 11 targets last week, didn't he? 13 targets last week. Really hard to move anybody ahead of him down. I guess I could move Keenan Allen down, but Keenan Allen, what did he do last week? 10 targets. There's just a lot of guys, decent guys. All right. Where do people have Diggs ranked? All right, I'm ahead of consensus anyway on Diggs. I'd like to be a little bit higher, but you know what? Let's play this a different way. Kayshon Boutte. Where do people have Booty ranked? 49. Oh, the standard deviation on the ranks for Kayshon Boutte are wide. I mean, it's expected that the lower you get, the wider it gets, but this is like standard deviation of 10 spots, which means the highest rankers have Bude ranked 28 and 29, 28, 29, 30. The consensus is 49. So that's 20 spots really. From first to mid, and then probably mid to last. I want to see the lowest rank on him is like people just don't have him ranked is where it ends up being, which is why I only pay attention to a certain amount of people. All right, Yankee has him at 52, corner at 52, Thorman at 51. All right, so I'm ahead of. All right, Tyler O has him at 48. Where do I have Boots? I have him at 51. I'm going to move him up. I would have to move him ahead of Darnell Mooney, which Darnell Mooney should actually be much higher. Rashid Shaheed, Quentin Johnson, Pittman versus Denver, Khalil Shakir. What did he do last week? He had 9 targets, but it's probably all that fourth quarter stuff. Pittman's going against Denver, so I don't want to banish him, but I'm kind of stuck. That's the trouble with rankings sometimes, is that you want to have somebody higher, but you don't want to have 5 other guys lower. And that spot, I'm just going to leave it. The other one, Kendrick Bourne and San Francisco quarterback this week is, where do I have him? Where the heck is he? I didn't think I had him that low. He's higher. He should be. Mac Jones. I have a QB 23 ahead of Daniel Jones. Mac Jones is, but Shanahan finally gets his Mac Jones. And they pulled in Kendrick Bourne this week or last week from the Patriots. Mac Jones and Bourne had a good connection with the Patriots 2 years ago, so we get to see that replay itself. I do want to move Bourne up. I don't want to move him ahead of. I'll move him ahead of Deontay Thornton and Alec Pierce and Tyquan Thornton, but not ahead of Troy Franklin, Higgins, Juju, Iamaner. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. All right. So, anything else I want to check out? Did inactives? Can check another source of inactives. I don't want to publish this source though, just because I want to try to stop using it. And I know I found a different source last week, but players ruled out for Sunday include Marshawn Lattimore, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Bub Means, Kendre Miller. Oh, that's old. What the hell is that? That's a dead account. Let's take a look at this. Curtis Samuel. Yeah, there's nothing. There's nothing really that I've missed, I don't think. Double check one last time. Let's see. Quarterback. All looks good. Running back. Eckler's already locked in there. Wide receiver. Looks good for now. Should do a double check and make sure I'm not totally out of whack on something, but I might be able to do that later. All right, let's play one more engage 8 here just for giggles, and then we'll go. All right, so I might get, so if both the running backs go before me, I'll go with CeeDee Lamb instead of Jamar. Actually, maybe I should do the Jamar Burrow stack. Let's do that. I think I already have a CeeDee Lamb stack. Oh, I got other questions in the Discord. Is this today? Yeah. I didn't even see him in there. Dropped Spears, might lose him, but remembered he originally went undrafted as a Purdue. Okay. Just I chalkboard man, I think I reviewed it either waiver wire or last week. Told them that if he had an ad drop question, he dropped Spears, might lose him. He originally went undrafted, probably least likely to get picked up. Perfect. Cool. Always Lieutenant Dam's the man. They're talking back and forth. Oh, this is the beauty. Oh, you guys can't see that. So this is the beauty of the Discord. We get to chat and everybody gets to put their input in. I really like that. Like, and everybody has their own resources they go to. These guys, PJ, Chalkboard Man, Lieutenant Dan, K Hockey, they're active in here and they're just as good at a lot of the stuff as I am. So yeah, just start fanning or all the dice with Bowers. Don't have a roster spot for Mayer. It's kind of a gut call. I personally I for Bowers, but would understand going with Fannin for safety. That's all I want. Like what I would do, yeah, I would wait on Bowers and just go there, or even like if there's a flex, like maybe start Fannin at tight end. Oh, I'm on the clock in the draft. So I got chased with my first round pick. I'm gonna go Achane with the second pick to shift from what I did. I went Lamar last time, so I'm hoping for Burrow on one of the comebacks, and can throw in like I might do a double stack, but maybe not actually. Oh well. Let's see. It's 2-4. Actually, it's going to come back to me fairly quickly. So if I could. I mean, getting Malik Neighbors is pretty tight there. You guys, oh, here. Sorry about that, guys. If you're watching, hit up the chat. Definitely hit the like, subscribe, hit the notifications. And as we were saying before, hit that Discord. It used to get pretty poppin' last year. I'm hoping for the same effect this year at some point. So do I go, whoops, all right. I guess Burrow there was just fine. Yeah. Nobody probably would have gotten him. I probably could have pushed him, but why risk that when there was nobody there that was in grave need of being drafted. Guess I could have gone Chase Brown maybe, but in that case too, I would have passed on Devon Achane for say Neighbors. That could have been I could have come back with Neighbors in the second, but really, why grab Neighbors in the second when there's Higgins and AJ Brown and a slew of guys I can get later? If Tyler Warren comes back to me, which it looks like he should, I'll definitely grab him before a receiver. And so Achane was a good pick because Breece Hall ends up going in the early fourth. He's been going late fourth or fifth. So this might be a 3 wide receiver build. We have T. Higgins and AJ Brown. I don't generally like the double stack in this format, but if it falls in my lap, I'm going to take it. Although AJ Brown should be ranked higher than he is right now. Then again, I'm not so sure AJ Brown is going to outperform Tyreek or even Devontae Smith. So yeah, I'm not going to play around. I'll go with the double stack. Do I want to bring back with a Jacksonville guy? Do I want to bring back with Travis Hunter? There's just AJ Brown, Tyreek Hill, Devontae Smith are all I'm not going to give up those projected points. Even George Pickens, I probably have against over Hunter. I could go Etienne is gone. Is he? Yeah, he's gone. So those running backs are starting to pop off earlier, which makes complete sense, which is why I prefer to go running backs in the first few rounds. Breece Hall and Travis Etienne were kind of your fallbacks in the really fifth round. But as you can see, they are jumping up as they should be because there are a plethora of wide receivers here. We can see that AJ Brown's still there in the sixth. Is this the sixth? Am I missing something? AJ Brown in the sixth round with no Goddard. Everybody's now hyped back up on Devontae Smith because of his splits without Goddard, but they're forgetting AJ Brown's still wide receiver 1 there. All right, so I'm going to do a few last second checks. I appreciate you hanging out today. I'll be on at some point during the week. I seriously tried to get in on Tuesday. Just plain simple exhausted. Couldn't get a waiver wire show in. I'm going to try to get that in this week. I'll definitely be on Thursday before the game just to go over rankings, some different articles I'm looking at, and then next Sunday I probably won't. I'm going to be away. I might do a short show from the hotel room or something. But I will be essentially babysitting my parents. They both have dementia and the 24/7 aides need off sometimes. So that's my weekend duty next week. I'll be changing diapers and, driving people around and taking them for walks in their wheelchairs, high chairs, no wheelchairs. So yeah, I'll be busy next weekend. I will try to sneak in something though. I'll definitely be in the Discord answering questions. I just don't think I'll be able to do the YouTube show next week. But anyway, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you. Hit the like, please subscribe, turn on those notifications, and then join the Discord and check out wheelrouteff.com. Appreciate your time. Peace.